Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning from wherever you're watching us. This is PM TV, and today we are here at Nyayo Stadium attending the open training session for the Harambee Stars national team that will be taking part in a tournament that is held in Rwanda. Two friendlies, they'll be taking on Estonia, and then if they win that game, they'll be playing versus Rwanda. So today is an open media session. We'll be talking to the coach, we'll be talking to the players.
Obviously, the last game, that wasn't Kenya. Okay, we were up against the AFCON champions, and when you have a squad full of new players, young players, experimental players, that we weren't prepared to play Senegal, and then when the rules changed, and then all of a sudden you clash against Senegal with a young team that we've picked. It wasn't a good reflection on the team, on the players, but it is football. When you're in that situation, but we didn't also felt that we didn't have to play if we didn't want to, because we were supposed to play against Madagascar and Comoros, and then it changed again to Equatorial Guinea and Madagascar, and then it changed again to Equatorial Guinea, 2 matches, and then a week before the tournament starts, you told you play Senegal. So then it was completely out of myself, hands, the technical team and the team, but we honored the fixture, and we got a taste of real international football. So I think from that mistake, you don't want to experiment again with young new players, and what we're try to do now is build for the AFCON team. So we want to get the strongest possible players that we have out there, Kenyan heritage players that plays in strong leagues, and that basically was the purpose for this, because we're playing against Estonia, and then if you win, you play the winners of Rwanda and Grenada. So it's a nice little opportunity for us to rectify and make people forget about our last result, and we're only as good as your last game, and we all know how that last game ends. So now we've got an opportunity to rectify that and put something positive again in the minds of Kenyan fans, because we've built up until here. We've built up really good, and I think the national team has progressed in a good way. Then to let the last result determine where we will finish, and we don't want to be demotivated because of that. So we're excited.
Coach, speaking of dual heritage players, one of the players that you drafted back into the squad, maybe for the first time since June 2024, Zech, of course, isn't here. He's been playing at a very good level for Crystal, and right now he's at Wrexham. So when can we expect him to link up with the squad, and what do you think he will bring to the setup?
Experience. It's experienced players. We went to watch him the second last match against Hull City. Unfortunately, they lost. And we had conversations, and obviously I think for a player like Zech, his last experience wasn't the best experience when he came here. So when a player is traumatized, you gotta nurse your way into it. But he's optimistic. He wants to play for the national team, and obviously he wants to get all the paperwork out the way, so that he get his Kenyan passport, and then he's eligible to play, and that's when we will see him back. But I think this one was just trying to convince the player, to come and join, because he can play for Kenya, and he showed that initiative that he wants to come and play. So so it's very exciting for us to have a player like Zech Vyner coming with championship experience. And just add to the squad that we already have. And a lot of the players that plays in the local leagues can learn a lot from players. Having players like Zech Vyner comes, Daniel Ayembe, the same situation. His team is in a fight for European places. So he's spoken to me personally and asked me if I could excuse him for this camp, and obviously, so you want the player to give himself a best chance for his club to finish in European places. So that was my conversation with Daniel Ayembe, and that's why you don't see him here, but he was in the initial squad that I wanted. So listen, we have a lot to look forward to, a lot of players that we went to see that's very eager. And I think for me, that's the most important. Not there we go begging for players to come and play. Like, they're free will. They've got Kenyan mother or father, so they're eligible to play for Kenya because they have a parent that was born in this country. So they're very much Kenyan as every single one of you, whether they're born in another country, but with your father or your mother Kenyan, how come that doesn't make you Kenyan? So the fact that they want to come and play for Kenya, that's positive. Instead of us forcing ourselves onto players and begging them, I'm never going to beg no one. So the fact that they want to come and play and they're excited, they're optimistic, that's all you want. Then you know you're going to get the best of players because they want to play for Kenya, not other way around. So I'm looking forward to building up for 2027. It's exciting times.
Coach, just one from me. On March 21st, we celebrated your 1 year anniversary since you took charge. And your first match in charge, I think Bajaber made his debut and he scored a worldie and introduced himself to the world. And he's undergone a rough time during that 1 year. But your management, you've seen you placing like a father figure. You saw that with Mansour. And then you've managed to call him back again despite not having playing time. Can you just walk us through what you were thinking about giving him the opportunity to again show what he's got? And then during that 1 year, can you just tell us how has it been and what's the next step for us going forward?
I won't say it's been a roller coaster because it's been fairly good since I came here. Not a lot of bad experiences as my short tenure here at the national team. So I'm hoping that the growth of the national team continue to grow and we continue to progress and improve and become better. Like I said, Bajaba has been an exceptional talent that came from the local football. You know, he was thrown into the Lions' den from nothing. And he stepped up massively and he's proven and he's dedicated to the national team. And then unfortunately for him, during the CHAN, just before the CHAN, he got a horrible injury that kind of kept him, and that's hampered him since till now. But he's again making that progress to getting back. So when you have the players that you've seen what they can do and what they can offer to the national team, you don't turn your back on those players because loyalty also goes a long way. And I'm somebody, when you do well for me, I'm always going to show you that loyalty, you know. And obviously the new players, you have to perform week in, week on to impress. So I think it's just me also showing him that he still has a role, he has a part in this national team. So just because he suffered some terrible injuries and endured a not so great time at Simba, but I know when he's reunited with his national teammates, it brings out the best in him and everybody else around him, and you can see that the player, maybe the confidence is maybe a little bit not there from not being as active as he would have liked to. But the day he joined up with the teammates, you see the big smile on his face and he's happy again. And I think that always brings out that you want to play your best for your national team, for your country, because these are the people, your fans, your people. They believe in you, and that's why he's here. So he's going to contribute a lot, and we have to give them that love that they need, you know.
Okay, Coach, the move to collect some of our players definitely has received credit from a section of Kenyans, but also there has been critics, including officials from our club, which sometimes I hope also you've come across some of those comments on the social media in terms of the local clubs saying that sometimes also their players also, deserve to get into the national team. So what could be your comment, on that?
Listen, like I said, football is a global sport, and it's a sport where you're never going to satisfy everyone. You got to do what's right for you, what's right for the team, and what's right for what you know. And these are a lot of the players you see here is players that's done well for me since I started here. So I'm not going to turn my back now on anybody because some coaches are crying. They need to worry about their position where they are in the logs and their teams. And if their players are better than what we've selected, then yeah, they've got a case. But up until then, I'm yet to be proven wrong, so I'm gonna stick to that. And we are monitoring all the players in the local league. And if you do well, yeah, we do select. But if we have players that plays abroad and in much stronger competition, why would you not select a player that plays in a strong competition? Because you see, when you experiment, then you get a scenario where you go play Senegal. Experimenting doesn't end well. Then who must face the music? Those coaches who's crying for their players, because it was their players that was part of the team. So I'm the one that has to answer for that, and rightfully so, because I thought it was an opportunity for them to put them in the squad, and unfortunately the end result wasn't what we wanted. And now, yeah, you just want to rectify. You don't want to make the same mistake over and over and over again, because somewhere you learn from downfalls and mistakes that you've made. Not that it was a mistake. I think the players that we called up, they deserve to be there. Unfortunately, yeah, they paired us up against Senegal. So if it was against Madagascar or Comoros, it would have been a completely different scenario, different outcome. But unfortunately, it wasn't. So now, yeah, you go with what you know, the tried and tested, the strongest team, because I think the more negative results you get, it doesn't reflect good on the team. It doesn't reflect good on me, of course. Then I have to answer for why the team is not winning. And surely you guys don't want the coach in charge that keeps losing matches. So yeah, that's just my stance on that.
We'll take the final question from Makumi.
You've spoken before about you like your players being versatile. Is it something we are expecting to see in the friendlies where different players will play in different positions?
Yeah, no, I think I like my players to go back to when they were kids. There was no positioning. Everybody plays everywhere, and see how well you develop your footballing skills. And it benefits you when you get to this age, because you become versatile. You're not just a one-dimension player. You can play in various positions. So, yeah, I like that, and I think a lot of players have to adapt to that. And so far, it's been really well, because I can't honestly tell you what is Ben Stanley's best position, because I think Ben Stanley, if I play him at number 9, he'll do a very good job for me there. But at number 10, he plays on the right mid side and on the left. Austin, sometimes at last matches, I played him as a left converted winger coming inside as a second number 10. So yeah, I like my players to have that kind of creativity. Takes them out of their comfort zone. But when they do play in their position, they've got awareness of dropping into spaces in different positions, and sometimes you surprise the opposition, and that's what we want. Want a very versatile team, and that's why you always see me. Why is coach picking this one? But there's method behind all my madness.
Which can I ask one?
How special was this case in an attached player?
Man, you asked me already the same question. You want me to give you the same answer? Don't you understand what loyalty is?
Which can I ask one out of football? You've played football at the highest level, but recently we saw the CAF decision to annul the trophy to Senegal. What did you make of it as someone who followed the game and played at the highest level?
Not a good advocate for African football. You know, we fight the world that we want Africa to be recognized, to be respected, and that. So yeah, when you see that kind of decisions, it's sad that it's been such a backlash everywhere. All media platforms, has talked about it, and I hope that CAF can sort it out, because up until now, they've been doing Africa justice. Africa has grown since the new regime at CAF, and yeah, so I think CAF just has to rectify that and set the record straight, and not let African football go 10 steps backwards again, because we've made so much good progress. The world has noticed how amazing the AFCON in Morocco was, the football that was displayed, the talent. So yeah, so we want the world to remember that, and not what just happened now. So I hope, yeah, they can just sort and let people understand what the things behind it. But I think Africa has done a great job so far, so I don't want to be too critical,
So that has been our day. We've attended Harambee Stars open training session, and we've spoken to the coach. That's Benni McCarthy. Has addressed several issues. One of them being the game that Senegal thrashed us. He has also given his opinion or his view about what happened with CAF overruling the decision and awarding Morocco as AFCON champions. The team will be traveling tomorrow to Rwanda. They will be facing Estonia. So we wish all the best, the boys, and as you can see, they're in high spirits, and hopefully they'll get to bring the cup home.